Hi again. Can you remember the name of my naughty little sister's best friend? His name was Harry. Let's see, there's a tiny, tiny picture of my naughty little sister and her best friend Harry. And this story today is all about Harry, and it is called Harry's Very Bad Day. I wonder what he's going to get up to today. When my naughty little sister's friend Harry was a very little boy, he was often bad without knowing it. I expect you used to be like that sometimes when you were little. Once Harry had a day being bad like that. One day, when his mother was busy cleaning her house and his father was busy sawing wood in the garden, Harry jumped onto a chair in the kitchen and began to bang a spoon on a plate. Harry sometimes banged his spoon on the plate after he had eaten his dinner, and nobody had grumbled at him. But Harry's dinner plate was the special sort that doesn't break. This day, Harry banged a spoon on one of his mother's best china dinner plates. It made a much nicer noise than Harry's own plate, so he hit it harder and harder. And very soon he hit it on the edge, and it jumped, and it fell off the table onto the hard kitchen floor. And of course, it broke. Bad Harry said, "Broke!" in a very surprised voice. Then he said, "Broke it! Broke it all up!" "Broke it!" he shouted, and his mother heard him and came in and grumbled at him. "Oh, Harry, you are a bad, bad boy," she said. "I can't take my eyes off you for 1 minute." Harry said, "Plate broke. All fall down." "Yes, and you broke it," said Harry's mother. "It was very, very naughty." She said, "I can't watch you all the time. You had better go out in the garden and watch Daddy. He's making me some new shelves." So Bad Harry took his spoon and went into the garden to see what his father was doing. "Stand there if you want to watch," Harry's father said. "Don't come any nearer or you might get sawn by mistake, and you wouldn't like that." So Bad Harry stood still and watched. Harry's father had a plank of wood on his bench and he was sawing. Zzz, zzz, went the saw, and all the yellow sawdust fell on the ground. Zzz, zzz, went the bright shining saw, and then plunk, a piece of wood fell off. "Another shelf cut," Harry's father said, and he took it indoors to measure it against the kitchen wall. He took the saw too, because he didn't want Harry to play with that. But Harry didn't want to play with the saw anyway. He wanted to play with, what do you think? The heap of yellow sawdust. First he put his foot in and pushed it round and made it all swirly. Then he knelt down and put his spoon in it. He tried to taste it, but it was nasty and stuck to his tongue, so he spat it out again. Then he threw spoonfuls of sawdust up in the air and it blew all over the flower bed. "There it goes," Harry said. "There it goes," and he threw some more. He liked doing that. Soon he dropped his spoon and picked up 2 big handfuls of sawdust and threw them both up into the air at once. But it didn't blow away. It came down all over his head, and it got mixed up in his curls. Remember Harry, when he was very little, had lovely curly hair. But Harry didn't mind. He threw some more sawdust and began to laugh. "Up in the air," he said. "Up in the air." He thought it was a very nice game. But Harry's father was very cross when he came out and saw the mess on his flower beds. He didn't think it was a nice game. He shouted at Harry. Harry's mother was very cross when she saw all the sawdust in Harry's hair. She had to brush it out at once. "I suppose you'd better come with me," Harry's mother said, and she took him upstairs with her, sat him on the floor and found him some toys to play with. "Now behave yourself," she said, and she went back to polish the floor again. But Harry didn't like these toys very much. He didn't want to play with them at all. He wanted to help his mother do her work. So he went across the room and he found a big tin of yellow polish, and while his mother was polishing the floor, he rubbed it all over the chairs and the dressing table. He took it out of the tin with his hands and he rubbed it everywhere. He liked doing that. He said, "Look, I polish." Harry's mother looked and she was so cross. She shouted, "Harry!" Like that. "Harry, I've had quite enough of you for one day. You shall go straight to bed." And she washed all the polish off him, put him into his pyjamas, and then she put him to bed. "Stay there, you naughty, naughty boy," she said. "Don't you dare get up." Wonder, has your mummy or daddy ever sent you to bed because you've been naughty? I'm sure they haven't. Harry was very cross with his mother for putting him to bed like that. He didn't think that he had been naughty. So he got out of bed and screamed and banged until his father called up, "Do you want me to come up there?" And then Harry was very quiet. He was so quiet that his mother nearly forgot all about him. When she did remember him again, she went in to see what he was doing. When she saw him, she began to laugh. Bad Harry had forgotten all about being sent to bed because he was naughty. He had kicked his legs up in the air under the bedclothes and made a little tent, and taken his teddy and all of his toys into the tent with him. "I've made a house," Harry said, and he wouldn't go downstairs. He liked playing in the house so much that he stayed on his bed all afternoon, laughing and talking to himself. My mother brought us round to see Harry's mother that afternoon, and when my little sister heard him laughing upstairs, she ran up to see what he was doing. She liked his games so much, she went into the little house too, and they had a lovely time. "I put him to bed for being naughty," Harry's mother said. "I think I shall have to put him there when I want him to be good." So that's what happened on one of Harry's very naughty days. And he was sent upstairs. But do you know, whenever I was little, my little sister and I used to build houses and tents of our own. I wonder, have you ever done that? Built an inside tent or a fort? Sometimes we did it on the sofa and we took our cushions off and set them up like this, and then we put a blanket over the top. Sometimes we used our dining room table and we had blankets and sheets and we put them over the top of the table and they hung down, and we maybe put books on top of them so that the sheets didn't fall down. And then we could go in and we had our own little secret den and we would have great fun. So I wonder, is that something that you could do? Could you build your own fort, maybe in your house or in your garden, because it's so lovely and sunny this week? So I would love to hear all about that if you can build something like that in your house. Bye bye.